Let's talk a little bit about what programs should do now. We want to make sure you have been working hard to get your data entered in. So we would recommend that you make sure data has been entered for each preschool student in the Bridge form or the K-Ready system for the fall reporting window, considering your local timelines. We're going to briefly, though, because there are people using the Bridge form and there are people using the K-Ready system, we're going to talk about both of those. So for programs that are using the Bridge form, we really encourage you to use your local communication methods for ensuring that the data in your Bridge form is accurate prior to reporting the student data in EMIS or EAS. With me, I just want to make sure people know where to find the Bridge form. We have it on the Early Learning Assessment for Administrators page and the Teachers page. I'm on the Administrators page, and if I scroll down under Forms, I find the Early Learning Assessment Bridge form. It's literally an Excel document. Depending on what browser you're using, it'll come down here. I click on it and open it. I would recommend, if you haven't already done this locally, save this document to your machine in a folder. Maybe you have a folder called ELA 2018 and the name of your program. So I would save it somewhere. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now, but just save it locally. And then you'll see that there are instructions. Basically, just follow those instructions right here. And there's two tabs. There's a tab for the teachers to enter the data, and you'll see that there are drop-down boxes for every required SKB within the 10 learning progressions. And you'll notice that every SKB has an option for an N, as in not scorable. We'll talk about that in a few slides after we're done showing the Bridge form and the K-Ready system. Okay, once the teacher has selected the ratings for a child in each of those SKBs all the way across, then what happens is on the next tab, you'll see the information for the data manager. And then the data shows up for the data manager. Okay, now you're going to see a lot of N's on here because I didn't enter scores over here. So if you get a Bridge form that has a bunch of N's on it, you want to make sure that the teacher has actually put scores in on this side. If the teacher has put N's in for the SKBs, that makes sense as to why you would have N's. But you're also going to have N's if there's missing data. So you might not want to have missing data. You want to have a score in every SKB, even if that score is an N, which is totally acceptable, especially at this time of the year. Okay? And then I would recommend that you use a unique naming convention to save this form locally for your program or your classroom level prior to handing it over to whoever is doing the reporting in EMIS or EAS. Okay, so that's it for the Bridge form. Ed, let's go back to the slide deck, and we're going to talk a little bit about programs using the K-Ready system.
Okay.
So just like we recommended people make sure that the data is entered in the Bridge form, we also want to make sure that people are cleaning up their data in the K-Ready system. Cleaning up that data related to the student file, any teacher information or enrollment information that might need cleaned up. You might need to initiate or approve transfer requests. Now, for those of you who are familiar with using K-Ready for the KRA or the kindergarten assessment, this is slightly different for the early learning assessment because you might have children in multiple programs, a morning program and an afternoon program, maybe an after-school program, and so there might be many programs that have children in K-Ready that are, entering data on those students. So you have to know whether or not you need to approve transfer requests. However, in some cases, you might ignore a transfer request. If you have any questions about that or need extra help with that, please just reach out to the help desk. Okay, but otherwise, if a child really did leave your program and went to another program and they've loaded the student and initiated a transfer request, please make sure that you have approved any transfer requests as needed. And as a reminder, you're only required to have data to report on those ECE funded children and children receiving preschool special education services.